Hello, it's me, Jiske. We're going to do another Advanced Wars by Web replay analysis. This time it's not my replay, it's the replay of atrueboss and felix45. I really like atrueboss. I use their replays a lot to learn from maps. I think that they play really cool COs, and they usually are black hole, so that's good enough reasons for me to like them. I don't know anything about felix45. I believe that both of these players are. I know atrueboss is usually competing for like top 5 on the leaderboards. felix45. I don't know if they're that high, but they're definitely above 1,000 MMR or ELO. I think that Advanced Wars by Web uses. The reason that I'm reviewing this replay is because I have a game right now on A Love Supreme, and I don't really understand the way to play this map. I don't feel. So I want to learn something about strategies that these players use in order to try to win. And I haven't looked at this replay ahead of time. I think that the last replay analysis that I did was hurt in part by the fact that I had already reached the conclusions before I had started the video. So this time I'll be going into it rather blind. I'll be really trying to pay attention to the troop movements and what ways these players are going to use to force the other one out of the match. I don't remember who wins this, which is really cool to see. This is a really predictable first turn, so we'll kind of skip ahead. Yeah, Felix, pretty standard play, sending the bonus infantry down to capture the base. atrueboss is going for the same play. Going back to this first. Going backwards first with your first infantry is interesting. That's what atrueboss is doing. You can cross over here, and this is kind of natural capping path, I think, as well as going from here to here. So that's something. felix45 is doing the same thing. So maybe it's the city airport route. It's not clear which other route would take. I suppose you can move forward with this infantry. This is interesting that the mismatch here is that this infantry for player 1 has to go towards the base, but the bonus infantry for player 2 already goes towards the base so that this infantry can move forward. It's an interesting part of the map design. It's something that I should think about as I'm trying to make some maps myself. But I like that this part, the player 2 side here gets to be aggressive first if indeed moving the infantry back is the first play on both sides. So yeah, kind of predictable stuff. atrueboss moving the right side infantry forward. The first infantry goes onto the base, of course. This inside route is being taken here, so that's something to consider. Is that I think that in order to avoid like the eventual conflict, taking the inside route is a little bit more simple here. I'd be curious to see if the same thing is happening over here. And yeah, indeed, that is what happens. This infantry on this side moves all the way up. Base is captured for felix45, and on the right side of the map, Felix is taking the inside route as well. Yeah, same thing. The predictable capture out of the city airport looks like for this first infantry on the left side for atrueboss. This area of the map is actually mirrored exactly. The infantry that was in the woods, like Felix is now taking this city. The next infantry goes on the outside, so it looks like the capture path for this is going to be here. But by the time that the infantry gets here and captures this, there's certainly going to be either this infantry or this infantry that's moving up towards this path here. So we'll see what happens with that. And yeah, it looks like. Okay, so this is the first tank on the. I guess this is the aggressive side, technically. So they build the tank here, and this side is no longer mirrored. Interesting. This one is this infantry. Felix sends to the outside, I suppose, going through. These will both go towards these cities here, because it wouldn't make sense to capture. He get the airport one turn faster if he's confident that he's going to use it. felix45 might go for the one turn faster battlecopter. It seems that atrueboss is committed towards getting the airport with this infantry. Then actually, that's maybe more than one turn slower, right? Because it's a 2 turns faster, because it takes 1, 2, 3, and then 1, then 2 turns to cap, right? So interesting. So the infantry that was here moves to this outside city. atrueboss builds the tank on the defensive side, it looks like. Yeah, this is the aggressive side because it's the side that's closer to their base, and this is the defensive side because it's close to them. So the tanks are being matched over here. This is all infantry. Seems more or less even, but these cities are being capped on each side. This is a little different, or no, it's not, because this was capped this turn. This will be capped next turn. These 3 aren't being continued. No, these 2 are. Felix ahead. Yeah, looks like it. Felix is ahead because of the first turn advantage. And in fact, yeah, he is going for the faster airport, it looks like. What else is going on? So this infantry is kind of in a weird spot now. I suppose this will go here and this will go here. The infantry will go towards the inside here and go up. This area is really strange. It doesn't feel connected to the outsides of the map, which is where most of the fighting is going on. But having the HQs on the inside is really interesting here, with the bases being so far away. I say so far away, but it's more like there's not a good path to these inside cities, which is good because it'd be a really what do they call it, choky map if they were scrambling towards the inside really fast. But instead you're fighting on these much more open outside ends with having to choose whether to send things inside towards the base or outside towards the outside. And there's not really a clear path to, it doesn't feel good to go back like this and around. That S shape that you would have to make here is really not comfortable. It's really interesting. But yeah, this aggressive side is pretty intimidating for felix45. atrueboss's offense over here doesn't seem like it's the same caliber with the. What's he got? He's got 6 infantry, and then over here there's 7 infantry in the tank. And there's 5 infantry over here, so it's not like this is like a 6 infantry to 5 infantry. Obviously the 6 are gonna win, but this is a lot of stuff. He's only got 4 infantry over here and the tank. Okay, so the tank goes on the other side. But this turn, Felix will also get a tank. And yeah, indeed, the infantry was going for that capture path. This city is looking really lonely, but it's only on this side too. I suppose that's the alternative, is that this infantry should go towards the inside now. I don't know. He's in a really weird spot. It feels much more natural to go city airport, but the fast airport is going to do Felix some good, probably. And this infantry can, I guess, go towards the inside and capture this city. I don't really understand how to weigh that. Well, I understand, but I'm not willing to do the calculus. How's that? And infantry from this base. That's 2 infantry here. Oh, that's yeah, because this is a true boss's turn, even though it says Felix. The end of this turn. Okay, so this is performing the. Or no, this isn't the S because the S would be taken from the tank over here. So this is really interesting. This tank is going to be able to contest the infantry on the inside, while this infantry over here is getting started, and a little difficult. Maybe not so difficult. It'll be difficult to comfortably catch up to it because the tank's already here. That was weird. It doesn't feel like this infantry has a good spot to move to. Curious where that goes. But on the other hand, no. So airport's taken. Next turn, have 16,000. Get like a copter. Maybe a mech and 2 infantry. Does that add up correctly? Yeah, that math checks out. Maybe the mech's not necessary. Maybe you just go copter infantry. And a boss will start capping this turn, but that's a long ways off for the B-copter, and it doesn't feel good to want to. Doesn't feel like you want to build anti-air from this base yet. Copters really kind of do have free reign on this map with the large rivers here, the large bodies of water. Let's see here. Okay. It's a lot to keep track of, you know. So these just take up defensive positions. He is leaving himself open to like a first strike on either of these. But it would be really unwise to attack the infantry with the tank at this point because it's in the mountains. It's got super high defense. It's not good. It does not have good terrain surrounding it. Doesn't really make sense to go for the tank on the city here either because there's also not good terrain surrounding it, and anywhere that he goes he's liable to get trapped. On this side, this infantry will move in, and you can get trapped between like the tank and the 2 infantries, or if he go here to get trapped between the 2 infantries in the river. So this is actually a really interesting defensive position, even though he would be risking getting struck first. I wonder if the funds that would be taken out matter. They matter more to Felix right now because I think he's betting on getting the battlecopter. There's a lot of infantry in this area, and I'm curious to see. Well, he just builds another, so he's more interested on being aggressive, it seems, with the other tank. Curious where this tank goes. So yeah, it was correct to be copter and 3 infantry. This tank goes to the mirrored position over here. This is a really similar situation on both sides of the map. It's really not that different. Felix is, I guess, just the difference of the second turn, or the FTA counter is all of the advantage that he has, it seems. Neither of them have dealt damage to the other. either actually attacked, I don't think. Can I check that? Yeah. I don't have any music playing, but I'll add it afterwards. That'll be better. My mic died because there's no sound coming into it. But I'm back. This doesn't seem right that he's generated for 4,000 gold. That seems truthfully just wrong. That's their current gold. That's not the amount they've generated. It's interesting that it doesn't show properly. I'll report that to Walker, I guess. So next turn is when things are going to happen, and that means that it will be atrueboss's turn to act first, right? So it doesn't seem like he can hit this tank, but he can block it pretty effectively with this infantry going in here. You have to go all the way around. It'd still be able to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it'd still be able to hit like this infantry here, but that doesn't really do a whole lot, especially if he stays in the city. You can also move back. Not sure how effective that would be. And you'd just be giving up an infantry here. You could just hit that infantry, but then he kind of traps himself in. He can safely move. Yeah, he can safely move this infantry onto the city, so that's something. Start this cap. You can try to block with this infantry here. They have another way to block. Oh no, he can move the tank into the shoal and then block. Here, nah, because then he would just move the. You wouldn't want the tank to be on the shoal. He'd just move the infantry off the city because you wouldn't get the cap anyways, and then he would move the tank onto the city and hit. It'd be pretty bad. So I don't know what this tank's gonna do. This tank can not really go into here because of the B-copter. I guess he's just gotta play this kind of defensive. How far away is he? He can probably try to block the tank from this infantry and get this cap. I think that's probably the plan, is for atrueboss to get these 2 caps. And the goal for Felix is to move this B-copter into the center where it's going to be hard to get an AA in without upsetting this tank, or this tank. So it's like Felix is kind of in control here because of this B-copter. What does he do? Oh, I didn't really think about this, but this is a much more free attack over here because of the amount of infantry that he has. It's very difficult to go into here, and then he has a clear shot on this infantry, but he's running into the same problem. He's running into a worse problem than on the other side. Felix can't really hit this infantry on good terrain without both of these tanks messing up. They hit the tank here. Over here, not a lot has happened. Indeed, he didn't even try to block because he knows that this guy is safe. So he is moving into the center here, and then he's trying to protect this area. He's got decent positioning. I don't know why this infantry is here, really. Other than to block a little bit, maybe. Force things onto, like, force them onto the woods. Doesn't feel really good. He just doesn't have the number of units that he wants, and yeah, atrueboss does build the anti-air. That's something. we'll see if my prediction is correct. Then it's going to be moving this battlecopter into the center here. This is a really unfortunate set of circumstances. I feel like there's no way that Felix can hold on to this city here anymore. And it's less about the battlecopter moving into the center actually now. It's more about stopping this cap, but he can't because he doesn't have 2 tanks over here. Feels like that B-copter build hurt him more than it helped him now, because the number of tanks that AWBW has is just too significant that the anti-air feels really safe. Unless he's going to protect the battlecopter with a bunch of infantry, which will also die to the anti-air. I mean, that anti-air will just shred them. Feels really bad. And indeed, he is protecting the B-copter with the anti-air. Or he is protecting the B-copter with the infantry. He moves the tank onto the HQ. That's a smart idea, because he's pretty worried about this formation. But it seems like these captures are really free. There's a really broad defensive formation. Got another battlecopter. So he's less afraid of this. Okay, so I suppose that he only needs the tank to hit the anti-air over here. That's his idea. And as long as he's blocking, but I mean, if he's sort of congested, or like this battlecopter means a lot less if he has to protect with all the infantry, because his infantry can't move very far. Battlecopter doesn't have the advantage of being really mobile if it's locked to where his infantry are. But I suppose the sheer number of them means that like you can kind of play around a little bit more than I'm giving it credit for. This is stolen, guaranteed. And then I feel like it'll be kind of decidedly in AWBW's favor once he takes the city. And he'll get these 2 cities, he gets the city. There's nothing stopping him from getting these eventually. There's nothing stopping Felix from getting these cities eventually, but it feels like, all things considered, that these 3 are the deciding factors here. And indeed, he has taken this. This is going to be his, I think, moving this tank from the right front to the left front is going to be a big deal. Where is he going to? He can't. What's he gonna do? Okay, so he can protect this battlecopter. He can move it in attack. No, he can't, because then he'll just can't do anything with this battlecopter. It doesn't feel like, because he can't one-shot the tank. He can't hit this infantry and kill it. They have enough backup. His B-copter is just dead in the air. This B-copter is not in a better position. It's going to move probably all the way to the left as it can. He's got to find some place to make this useful. The artillery comes out. A second anti-air, which I guess makes sense, because all that's over here is everything that's on these 5 columns is everything on these 6 columns is weak to anti-air. All these infantry and all these battlecopters, it's the right play, and there's not enough tanks to be concerned about, and the artillery makes building more tanks even more precarious. Felix was really betting on this battlecopter being useful, but he didn't have the tanks to back it up. Okay, so he's swapping the tank at the HQ for the battlecopter, and he moves this battlecopter to where the last one was. More or less, it's not exactly the same place. He has this protected in a good way, but once both of these are here, he can't do something like this again. The artillery is smart. I feel like the battlecopters protect the artillery pretty well. the artillery mitigate some of the tanks, and will deal with battlecopters on its own. He built a lot of artillery this turn. Hold on now. This is a lot of artillery. I don't know how I feel about that. Did he kill anything? No, he doesn't touch. He doesn't touch a thing. The black hole owns. Interesting. This is just hell to move through, and the AWBW realizes that. There's just no getting through this outside at all. AWBW is moving units into the center from here. If these were not all infantry, then it would be scary to have this like this. They only have to move up like a little bit more, and there's just not a lot here. So I'm thinking that that's what Felix is gonna do. That if AWBW doesn't move things onto the left side, that go around like this. The AWBW builds a copter here though. That's gonna put Felix in a really difficult situation because he's obliged to build an anti-air in one of these two spots. There's nothing over here to... He won't have the funds to spread around, really. I guess he can build like a tank. That's about it. So... yeah, AWBW does build the B-copter. Strong defensive formation. Not in range of anything, but the HQ is very, very well protected. And on the side, what happens? These two tanks. Okay, no, the anti-air hits the infantry and just kills it. That's clear. Then the two tanks are able to swarm the tank on the city. And there's enough infantry around to just mass up here. I'm a little bit surprised that this was moved but not fired. I suppose it's because this was on a woods tile, and so it wouldn't be advantageous. But Jake has the plains bonus. So that's that's decent. He has the first attack bonus, which is very good. And this, he shouldn't want this to be at full health, because if it hits the one in the city, then he won't be able to get the cap next turn. But it's also possible that he would lose this lanes one if between the counterattack and the... Oh no, he can't move this here. Maybe, I don't know. It's a little strange. Maybe he just figures that he won't get it anyways, that he's gonna give a battle copter or something to stop this cap. I don't know. This cap seems really inevitable. The game kind of seems over. Doesn't feel like Felix has the ability to punch through these two tanks on this side, especially not with the artillery behind them. And it feels like AWBW's ability to punch through the defenses on this are... It's basically inevitable, it feels like. There's no tanks over here to stop him. There's this artillery, but who cares? Another tank coming in. It happens now. There we go. I feel like it skipped ahead a little bit. Okay, so This is a move I don't understand at all. This battlecopter goes all the way across. This battlecopter hits the tank here to weaken it. Huh? Okay, so Felix doesn't care about the city, I suppose. He just wants good fights. It's something to consider is that he feels like taking out this infantry is more important than stopping the cap on this city. I would never have considered that, but that's, I suppose, the way that he feels. Builds a medium tank and infantries. So this medium tank actually does change this a considerable amount. The artillery shot onto the city infantry it'll either do 9 or 10 damage. Pretty sure that that's the way that works. No, it doesn't do that much? What if this had 9? How much HP? Okay, yeah, so it needs 7 HP. I thought that would one-shot. It is enough for it to be one-shot with the help of an infantry. And this is kind of a precarious, it's just so clogged up that it's difficult to move around effectively. I might just move this forward. As it stands, he gets to park this here. There's no threat of like, it doesn't feel like he can maintain control of this. Maybe he can, because anything that hits these 2 infantry he gets to make an artillery shot at. Then anything that gets to make an artillery shot at is very likely going to be significantly hurt, and you can either move the infantry back or yeah, you can move one of the infantry back and then make a shot at it with the medium tank, and it's certainly dead. There's no way that anything could survive both. But trading anti-air for battlecopters is always worth it, it feels like. Over here, it doesn't feel like this situation is getting a whole lot better. Maybe it is. Maybe this is a huge number of infantry. Maybe it just doesn't matter. If he parks all these infantry in front of the artillery that he's got, he can maybe make something happen. It feels bad, and the thing is that this battlecopter is moving over here as well. But I mean, there's a battlecopter already. Battlecopter changes things also. This is at least feeling better for Felix, and I suppose this side will feel better once he moves that medium tank. Okay, so the 2 HP tank moves back. The anti-air gun moves down. And infantry move into cap, and there's just a huge long line of infantry. Oh, that's so dirty. He moves off this city because he doesn't care about the city. This city's not important to him winning. Just definitely true. And then he gets to make attacks. Yeah, this AA goes and just obliterates this infantry, and then the 5 HP infantry. This 5 HP infantry can then move 1, 2, 3 to combine. So that's where that 7 infantry comes from, right? No, where does it? What? Does it move at all? This 2 HP infantry moves up. It's been a long night. See, it wasn't just use full HP infantry to kill that? I suppose so. So 2 HP. Oh yeah, I guess because it's a planes boost. So then he gets that. He gets both of these cleared, and then he moves the tank down. And he gets a big shot on his artillery. That's pretty rough. The other side of the map. This is pretty smart. Makes an offensive play over here. It'd be really hard to defend these artillery from the battlecopter. This battlecopter is basically obliged to attack this infantry. The only issue is this medium tank now. Okay, so this is a pretty decent situation, I guess, for Felix on the left side. Tank versus tank, it's a regular shot. This is a really good defensive wall here. AWBW is obliged to move this tank, but there's not really a good place to put it. Maybe on this plane, but it doesn't amount to much. This isn't like a bad formation for Felix, doesn't feel like, but it doesn't feel like it can do anything either. It just feels like there's a lot of meat, and he might take some losses if AWBW gets hit by artillery strikes, but also feels like if they wanted it, boss could just move back. Not worry. It doesn't feel like this can gain anything. It's a large issue. There might be just enough units to combine onto this, to just cap and combine, and then not worry about losing. Because if you put like the anti-air and the anti-air here, then the game's just kind of over. And I think that actually is the end. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. So yeah, AWBW gets one more. Yeah, and in fact, that is what happens. It pops the power for the defensive bonus, combines up some infantry onto this. The anti-air in the way. Felix realizes that he can't punch through all of these units, no matter what happens. He will only get one hit onto the infantry here, and the game is over. So, the things I learned about this game, about this map through this game, are that feeding through the inside is a really big deal, and the potential to front switch through the inside is also pretty serious. It doesn't take a lot to defend your base. It doesn't feel like AWBW was able to hold this with just like 3 infantry and 2 tanks for most of the game, and then they built an artillery, and when it looked like something bad might start to happen, there was a helicopter that was added, a B-copter, and just being able to choke this side with infantry was a pretty serious threat. I don't know how much these 2 cities mattered in the end, but AWBW was able to get those first and ended up winning because of it, or not, maybe not because of it. In addition to that, I think that this may have been just coincidental, but I think that certainly that spending as few resources you can to defend this area is probably the key, and maybe it definitely feels like Felix should pressure this area more. It feels like the B-copter out of this was just a total waste in the context of this game. There's nothing to gain from it being over here. So this airport feels like a trap, except defensively. But I'll have to look at maybe some more replays. It definitely changed my perspective, because I feel like I was, in the past when I played this map, I feel like I sent stuff to the outside a lot. from this base, and it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of sense in doing that. Especially if they're going to send stuff onto the inside, which they should, to try to get to the HQ. There's no sense trying to like rush these bases or something like that. That won't happen. The focus of this map is certainly this sort of movement that Felix has going, and that movement is just further along on Boss's side. You can see the sort of parabola of the exponential function looking thing of troops over here. But that's everything. It's a very long replay analysis. I definitely missed things. I know that I fixed at least the sound on the mic when I'm not saying anything. I'm not sure if what I said was particularly insightful, but there's just not a whole lot of advanced wars content up. If you have any advice for me in terms of things to look out for during replays, I'm more than happy to take feedback and advice and insight. I'm trying to learn this game, so anything like that is very much appreciated. Trying to make a little bit of content along the way, getting ready for reboot camp. So if you've stayed this long, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. Good luck.